We know that climate change makes wildfire season worse.
It looks like some weather tax and carbon tax needs to be put in place in Saudi Arabia, just like Stephen Guilbeault has put on Canada. Welcome back to Canada Wide, and the theme of the show is, should Saudi Arabia now have their own climate tax, and maybe they should pay per ton on every gallon of oil they ship out to Western countries, Africa and China. Maybe they need to start paying this. And you know, storms in North America are called hurricanes, and storms in Asia are called typhoons. So you know what? Storms in Saudi Arabia, since this is the first time it happened because climate change, why don't they call them tempests? And since you have to label them from A to Z, male, female, let's just call this Tempest Alley. We'll call it the Tempest Alley storm, the first of its kind in Saudi Arabia, because they did cloud seeding. And you know, when Stephen Guilbeault was in Egypt, which is very close Africa, right across the border or right across the ocean from Saudi Arabia, no one ever thought about cloud seeding and what they would do. I think it was called Shamrock Sheikh, COP 26 or whatever it is like that, in Shamrock Sheikh, when he was begging for any leaders to listen to him. How come no one thought about it? Hey, if we're going to talk about the environment, let's talk about cloud seeding and if this is a good idea. Because now, Saudi Arabia, what right do they have to do this cloud seeding and put all this rain there, 3 years of rain in one day? What right do they have to put it there? Because that rain should have been somewhere else, because now they'll start playing God. And maybe there'll be a drought somewhere in the world, because that's the rain that Saudi Arabia got that should have went somewhere else. And then Stephen Guilbeault will go on stage and say, look, it's climate change. Look at all the fires because of climate change. Well, that's because they needed the water and Saudi Arabia took it away. They had no right to do this. Just like Bill Gates doesn't have a right to block the sun for climate change. Like, these people don't have, none of their business should be interfering with the climate like that. And if they can make radical changes like that, why doesn't Stephen Guilbeault think about nuclear energy or hydrogen or something else? Like, all he can think about, tax, carbon tax is working, 80% of the families get more than they get back. Like, he believes it. Someone tells him and he just keeps saying it, and they will totally buy it. Just like Catherine McKenna has said before. They will totally buy it. Just like that 1930, what they used to do in Europe. That guy. Just say it often, they will totally buy it. So the theme of the show is, should Saudi Arabia start paying their own climate tax and weather tax to pay for the disaster that they created, and all this rain that gets dumped there, 3 years of rain in one time? All those buildings are in sand, and they have poles going down like 100 feet into the ground, many poles on every tower. Now, what is the effect of all this moisture and water going through now? The water is going to start going through the sand to the bottom. And what if that starts shifting the poles around and those buildings start getting a little skewed, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa? Like, no one thought about this. Like, no genius thought that, hey, maybe we should be careful what we're doing here, and maybe, you know, the United Nations, this is what I always thought the United Nations would think about the world, to say that no country can start putting chemicals in the air just to benefit themselves without collaboration of every country and scientists in the world. And it can't be liberal scientists that get paid money to say things and just yell at people if they disagree. You can't have that. You need real scientists to agree what they're doing. I'm not saying red tape either. Just, you know, have everyone give their input and let the world know what they're doing. So anyway, let me know in the comments. Do you think Saudi Arabia should start playing climate change tax? Because you know what? Looks like they have their own little tempest seasons too now because of what they did to themselves. So let's be wary too what they're doing. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.